In the interest of full transparency, yes, I've actually read some fan fictions. Some of my subscribers and followers have recommended some to me. And my only condition is that I really don't like going into the sexual type, primarily because I'm very imaginative. I visualize things and I don't like my brain going into that direction. It is just a personal preference, and it doesn't matter whether it's a girl group or a boy band. I just don't like going into that direction for my own mental health. That is just a personal preference. I really don't mind other people reading that and enjoying them. If you ended up liking this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification button. And of course, share the video if you can. On to the video. A fanfiction author turned her fanfiction into a published book. The story portrays Jimin of BTS as an abusive character towards V, which leads to Jungkook becoming V's knight in shining armor. This became very popular in Wattpad, and the author has since stated that the story isn't about BTS anymore and has changed the character names. Many V and Jungkook shippers, these are the fans who fantasize about V and Jungkook being real life couples, have bought the book and talk highly of the writing. However, there are also many who are disgusted by it, claiming that while it is fiction, the characters are based on actual human beings, and despite the fact that the author already changed the names of the characters in the book that was published, they still are using hashtags that capture the same market or the shippers of V and Jungkook. They feel that it feeds the delusion of the few instead of helping them get into a better mental state. In this video, let's discuss if we should really be concerned. Aren't almost all authors just thieves of other people's stories, transformed and evolved to something more sensible, sprinkled with fantastic coincidences and satisfying resolutions for public consumption? Isn't fan fiction just a respite for those who are unsatisfied with what they have and are resorting to stories rather than actual physical destruction? Isn't that better? If it helps them cope, why can't we just leave them alone? Why can't we understand that it is called fiction for a reason? Why are we being hypocrites for calling out fanfic that does not favor our biases? But we don't say anything when it does favor our biases. First issue. Aren't we just being salty when a fanfiction that positions our biases as the bad ones actually become popular? Especially in this case, it actually became a published book. I guess it certainly is a part of it. People turn to fanfiction for a reason. To find people with the same vision or desires, if you like, that aren't being fulfilled. Or maybe to supplement what they are getting if they are unsatisfied with real life. Even so, it does not invalidate the real issue. And this is the real issue. Stories like this is never healthy for the target market, the characters that were used, and for the opposite market. C.L. Falterman, the author of Death's Reject and a psychology graduate from Old Dominion University, said that fan fiction uses the expressive writing style. She describes expressive writing as the kind of writing that pours out from within, the words that flow onto the paper when you're dealing with life's chaos. It's about writing your feelings, fantasies, or experiences that mirror real life situations. Fan fiction is one form of expressive writing and it's been shown to help with mental health. It's even used as a treatment for trauma patients, proving that expressive writing can lift their moods no matter what they write about. Using fan fiction as an emotional outlet can be excellent way to manage personal struggles. By expressing their feelings, writers can relieve stress. Using fan fiction as a kind of emotional catalyst, it offers a way for authors to release emotional baggage. Stories like this, on the other hand, do not release emotional baggage. It actually adds to the baggage. It nurtures hate instead of kindness. It provides a space for people to allow their evil fantasies and delusions to come alive. And when you are catering to an audience that has an existing issue, you're actually just making it worse. It doesn't become a respite, it becomes a prison where people nurtures negativity. And when it becomes too much, they actually act it out. But wait a minute, how is it different from fanfic of Twilight or Star Trek or Harry Potter? Well, many attribute the start of fanfiction to 19th century Belgian inventor Hugo Gernsback. Gernsback published science fiction stories in popular magazines to educate people about science. He felt that it is easier when there is a narrative. Audiences became inspired by his creative narratives and, in response, quickly started to write stories of their own. Fans began to read each other's work and soon held the first WorldCon, or World Science Fiction Convention, in 1939. Thus, fanfiction was born. From there, things evolved, and one of the most significant development is the creation of fanzine Spockanalia. Spockanalia was created in 1967 and it centered around the TV show Star Trek. With the creation of the internet, fan historians were able to create virtual libraries, and even everyday people could create and publish their own fan fictions. Eventually, the enormity of separate web pages for fan fiction was reduced to the most popular three that we know today: Archive of Our Own, or AO3, fanfiction.net, and Wattpad. But while fan fictions that are centered around Star Trek and Harry Potter or even Twilight are all centered on fictional characters, fan fictions like the one that I talked about, they are centered on actual human beings. In this case, BTS. You can hate Professor Snape all you want. He isn't real. Hate Bella all you want. She isn't real. Jimin, V, Jungkook, and other artists for that matter, they are very, very real. Unfortunately, the fiction written about them fuels the hate and manifests in real life. As I've said, if you are catering to an audience with actual issues, you are just going to make it worse for them. Whatever negativity they can absorb, they will absorb and they will act it out. However, it's not the author's job to teach morals. It's her job to entertain. And I'm not gonna argue that. That's why I personally think this issue is bigger than just this book or this author. It's about ethics, values, and yes, morals. When someone hates an artist more than they hate abusers, rapists, or other criminals, they will find a way to hate, and they will find a way to fuel that hate. It's a problem of upbringing, of parenting, and even of culture. How did these people get to a point where they exert more energy and effort in destroying artists than advocating against actual crimes? This is a bigger problem, and it is not all on this specific author. So while I absolutely do not agree with what she did, I also know that this is an issue that is way bigger than her. So, should publishers avoid publishing books that came from fanfics of this nature? The truth is that they are a business with employees to pay. That is the nature of their business. They're going to publish books that will make them money, especially in this day and age when books are becoming extinct. The only people that can dictate what they can or cannot do would be the readers. If no one buys books that contain such vile adaptations of real people, they won't print any. The problem is that there are people who actually buy books of these stories, and there are a lot of them. It's up to us to send the message and let them know this is not okay. And we need to do more than just call them out on Twitter or any social media or by trending hashtags. We need some real action. And there is no bigger action than money for businessmen. Again, if nobody supports what they're doing, they are going to stop doing it. Can Hybe or Big Hit sue in behalf of V, Jimin, or Jungkook? Or can a management company or a representative of an artist actually sue if the artist was actually used as a basis for a character in a fiction? I guess the answer is yes, they can sue. Whether or not something is going to come out of that lawsuit is a different matter altogether. In the US, you can actually write a biography about somebody without their permission. In her case, she made it explicitly clear that this isn't about the Jungkook and Jimin anymore. Now, is it ethical? Probably not, but what's ethical is definitely different from what is legal. I do think that she owes more than just a simple statement or a simple press release. But I also don't want to judge her. I don't know where she is in her life. She might need this or whatever. So I don't want to talk about someone that I don't know. I certainly haven't read the fan fiction, I haven't read the book, and I don't know the story outside of what I guess everyone knows or majority knows. So it isn't something that I would do. And as I've said, I think she, just in my opinion, I think she owes more than just a simple statement. But this is really a bigger issue than her and this specific story. This isn't something that she can solve. This isn't something that she can just release a statement about or apologize for, and then things are forgiven and we can just move on. This is a bigger issue. As I've said, if fans have gotten to a point where they are so passionately hating at someone, an artist specifically, more than they are hating on actual criminals, we do have a problem. And that has to be dealt with in grassroots level. And when I say grassroots level, I mean upbringing. I mean raising a child to have the right morals. And I'm not to talk about morals. Definitely not the person that should be talking about this. So, but even so, something like this is unquestionably bigger than just one fan fiction or one author. So, would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comment section. Please leave them there, and you can definitely say whatever it is that you want to say for as long as you are for as long as you are respectful, not disrespectful. For as long as you are respectful. If you have anything to tell me, if you have requests, clarifications you don't want the public to know, you can always get in touch with me in any of the social media links that you see on your screen right now. And of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. And of course, share the video if you can. Thank you.